Hey guys, it's Guinea Pigs 1 here. I'm going to do a video for you guys today all about things you should consider before you get a guinea pig. I have my list here, so that's why I'm looking down at some points. Okay, first you need to think about whether you're allergic to guinea pigs or to their hay. That's a common reason that people rehome them because they don't realize. Guinea pigs have to have hay 24/7, so that can be a problem for some people. And also, some people are allergic to guinea pigs. It's just their dander. It doesn't have to do with whether they have fur or are hairless. It's just the stuff that's naturally on their skin that can cause irritations. So that's number one. An easy way to find that out is to go around somebody who already has pigs, or to go to a farm somewhere where there's lots of hay, and if it bothers you, then you'll know. Next is you need to know whether you have room for a decent sized cage. Now for C&C cage sizes, I'll show you one over there in a minute. A 2x4 is the standard size for 2 pigs. It's not really that big. Some people say there's no way they could fit that in their house, but really fits nicely in a corner somewhere against a wall. You can always prop it up on a table. One of those fold down rectangular tables that would sit on just perfect. If you have a big hallway, a big living room, it can go nicely against a wall. If you're not allergic to them, you can always put it in a bedroom. There's lots of space for that. And if really you don't have space for a decent sized cage for pigs, then maybe they're not the animal for you. You could always get something more like a hamster that can have a bit smaller cage. Or you could get, say, fish in an aquarium. Maybe you could get a cat or a dog that doesn't require a cage. But guinea pigs do need a decent sized cage because they love to run around and play. They explore their cage. I have huge cages for them, and let me tell you, they use every inch of that cage every day to explore, to run, to play. It's really good for them to have a large cage. Next is, do you have enough time for them? Guinea pigs are a lot of work. They require daily cleaning, they require nail clipping, sometimes bathing. You need to constantly be filling up their hay, checking waters, and they get pellets as well. So there's lots of things throughout the day that you're going to have to keep tidying and checking on. And maybe you take trips away from home. So this is the next thing you need to know is, do you have somebody reliable to look after your pigs? They're not as easy to look after as, say, a cat, where you give them lots of water, get somebody to just give them food, change the litter box. They need to be checked on a couple times every single day. You need to make sure they have their food, their water, their hay, and that their cage is tidy. So do you have somebody reliable that will honestly check on them a couple times every day while you're gone? The next thing is, can you afford a guinea pig? At first glance, a lot of people, I think, assume they just require pellets and some water and that's it. But you got to think about their bedding. Some bedding that's really good for them is expensive. Stuff like Carefresh, that is expensive. You can get aspen shavings, which are a little bit cheaper. You can't get pine or cedar. That's harmful to their lungs. I use fleece bedding, which can be expensive when you first get it, but it's cheaper in the long run. Now their cage, if you're getting pet store cages, those are really expensive to buy. But if you build a C&C cage, I could build a 2x4 for probably about $30 or $40. A large pet store cage, which probably still isn't large enough, is going to be about $150 to $200. So if you're getting the cage with the C&C, it's way cheaper. Now they also require pellets every day, which pellets aren't too pricey, and hay every single day 24/7. That can get a bit expensive if you have a lot of pigs and you need to make sure you keep filling it up every day. But that's not too bad. And you need to buy veggies every day, which vegetables maybe I spend $10 to $15 a week on for 5 pigs. But the place where they really get expensive is if they need veterinary care. Guinea pigs can get sicknesses, they can have accidents, and veterinary care for guinea pigs is not cheap. They're your responsibility, they're your pet, they should be part of your home, so you should be giving them vet care. So that's something to consider if you're going to have enough money for that. Barnaby, he got a bladder stone removed, and just for that operation was a lot of money. So you really need to keep in mind whether you have enough money to properly care for them if something were to happen and come up. It's always a good idea every week to put a little money aside into a special account just in case you need it. Alright, and the next thing to think about is, do you realize that guinea pigs are not like cats and dogs? They are prey animals, so they're naturally skittish and cautious. They take a long time to tame. They're not like taking a cat out, sitting and having it play on your lap, and then it goes off and does its own thing. They're in cages, which you need to keep their cages clean. Some cages you might have to clean twice a week or once a week. And you need to keep them always eating hay. They need their pellets, they need their veggies, stuff like that. They're a lot of work. And the next thing to consider is, did you know that you can adopt piggies? People rehome them on online ads. You can get them from shelters or rescues. Not everybody has to buy a pig from a pet store. If you're buying from a pet store, you're just kind of promoting breeding. There's so many piggies out there that you don't need to purchase from a pet store. They need loving homes because people have given them away, people have dumped them off, stuff like that. So look into adopting a pig. Like, we've all been there where we've bought a pig from a pet store. I'm guilty of that. But after I learned about adopting pigs, that's all I've been doing. So you can look on online ads. I got a couple of my piggies on there because people didn't have time for them and they were allergic to them, whatever the case may be. So there's lots of rescues and lots of shelters out there that really need you to take in their piggies and not purchase. So those are like the bunch of things that I think are really important to consider. I'll just do a brief recap. So are you allergic to pigs or hay? Piggies have to have hay. You can't give them the little hay cubes. It has to be long strand hay. Do you have room for a decent sized cage? Again, if you don't, it's not alright to stick a pig in a small cage just because that's all you have room for. I wouldn't get the pig. Like, I would love to have a couple big dogs, but I don't have a big fenced in backyard, so it would not be fair for me to have the dogs in the house where they can't run around and play outside. So I'd love to have them, but I can't get them. Just because you want something doesn't mean you should get it. Do you have enough time for them? They're very social creatures. You need to be constantly paying attention to them, playing with them, attending to their every need. Do you have somebody reliable to look after them if you go away? Can you afford everything? Can you afford the hay, the pellets, the veggies, the vet trips, the bedding, all that stuff? And do you realize that they're not going to be like having a dog or a cat, that they can be skittish and shy, take a lot of time for handling and taming them? And did you know that you can adopt them? Look into shelters, rescues, online ads where people are getting rid of their pigs. Alright, I will show you my piggies and their cage, and I'll talk about some expenses. Alright. Now, an example of a 2x4 cage is Grover's right there. And in comparison to this whole room, he just takes up one little teeny corner against the wall. I have the whole room that if he was the only one in here is not taking up that much space. 2x4 is what you need for 2 pigs, and you should always be getting 2 pigs because they're really social. Now, I have some pigs that are not with other pigs just because of fighting, but I still have pigs beside them so that they still have company. Now, to build this cage, it would be about $30 to $40 depending where you live. In Canada, I can get 1 case of grids, which will make a 2x4 for about $20, and a sheet of Coroplast for about 15 or 20. Sometimes you can score Coroplast for free. A lot of grocery stores use them for big advertising signs, and that's where I actually got a ton of free Coroplast from. So you can just ask around to see if there's any signs or anything like that that they're going to throw out. Now, I use cage liners. I get a lot of them from piggy bedspreads. They are expensive to purchase right off the bat, but in the long run I think they save a lot of money because I wash the cage liners twice a week. And if I was changing like expensive Carefresh bedding, that would cost me so much money a month that I wouldn't be able to do it. Now hay is cheaper when you buy it in bulk, so I always buy 50 pounds at a time. Hay is really easy to store. You just keep it in somewhere that's cool and dry. As long as it's not getting moist and overheating, it's not going to go moldy. I just keep it in the closet where it's nice and cool, nice and dry. Nothing's going to happen to it. Pellets is another thing you can buy in bulk bags, and whatever you aren't using, you can put in the freezer. It freezes just fine if you're worried about keeping stuff for too long. And veggies, I just go out once a week. Some people can even grow their own veggies in their garden, and that will save you money as well. Vegetables aren't that expensive. Like, I probably spend $10 to $15 a week, but that's for 5 piggies. And it's just the medical care that can really add up quickly. A vet visit here in Canada, just to see the exotic vet, is with tax, I think it's about $76 just for the visit. That's without any extra tests or medicine or anything like that. So that is expensive, but as long as you put some money aside every day or every week, you'll be fine. But if you're somebody who doesn't want to have to take a small pet to the vet, then don't get him. Because honestly, I've taken almost every single one of these guys to the vet at some point or another. Barnaby, he's had a bladder stone and ear infection. Ernie's had sore feet. Grover had a sore hip. Kelvin had to get a lump removed. They are little pets with possibly lots of problems. So that's one thing to keep in mind, that you're going to need to take them to the vet at some point. And not every vet is going to look at them. There's lots of vets that just specialize in like dogs and cats and don't even want anything to do with smaller pets. So you need to go and find a competent exotic animal doctor. Mine I have to drive about 45 minutes to get to. And there's a veterinarian that lives just around the corner from me that literally would be like a 2-minute walk from my house. But they strictly look after dogs and cats. So it's a good idea to have a vet lined up before you get the pets, because you're going to need them at some point or the other. Another great thing that you can always consider is guinea pigs love to have little beds and stuff. There's so many different makers of those things. You don't have to have them, but it is something nice for them. So anyway, if you have any questions, you can just leave me a comment down below and I'll answer you as best I can. I'm going to leave some different links for shops that I purchased from, for a good site to get all reliable guinea pig information from, places where I get pellets and stuff like that. Hi, Barnaby. And just so you know, my pigs are hairless guinea pigs. I get asked a lot if I've shaved them, which no, I haven't. Alright, hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. See ya!